Xavier Worthy's mom was jealous of Xavier Worthy and Tia Jones's relationship. Xavier Worthy was a serial abuser, constantly choking, slamming, and beating on and slapping on Tia Jones. And last but not least, Xavier Worthy consistently, verbally and physically abused Tia Jones over the last few months. Tia Jones's affidavit in support of a restraining order tells a very different story than the story we've heard in the media and the story we've heard from the Xavier Worthy camp. What's up, everybody? This is Mr. 100K a day with another episode of the biggest hater in track and field. And today, y'all, we're going to be reviewing the documents, the court documents, where Tia Jones gave a statement, an affidavit explaining the abuse that she suffered at the hands of Xavier Worthy. Now, Xavier Worthy, let's not forget, they got together about a year ago or so, and they got engaged on July 8th, 2024. A week later, they moved into a house together, a fat crib that they bought, that Tia Jones showed on her TikTok channel, saying that we bought a house together and we're doing these great things, trying to show off in front of everybody. We got it. The house they moved in is a pretty nice house. It's at 208 Water Song Lane in Georgetown, Texas. So this is a fat crib. When it was initially being built a few years ago, it was listed at about $1.7 million, $1.8 million. So I don't know exactly what he paid for it. Tia Jones put it out there like she was buying it too, like she was on some bossing up time. It was all a lie. Turns out it was all Xavier Worthy's house. So in the affidavit for the protection for the restraining order, Tia Davis said a few things that struck me kind of oddly. Number one, a lot of people have been saying she's lying, but some of the allegations in the restraining order, it depicts a few months of abuse. And she says it basically started in October 2024. And of course, it just subsequently blew up on March the 7th, 2025, which resulted in Xavier Worthy being arrested. Now, in her affidavit with all of the allegations she's making, a few things stood out. Number one, she said Xavier Worthy's mom was really jealous of her. Nicole Jones, I believe that's her name, was really jealous of Xavier Worthy and Tia Jones' relationship.
Xavier Worthy says his mom, Nikki, is his best friend. He said that she had him when she was 18, so she's like really his sister. He said our relationship is really close. She's meant the world to me. She's just been there for me. He said every step of the way we have that special bond, talk all the time. He was so happy that she was going to be at the game tonight because it is her birthday. And one thing he did say to me, Joe, just how great it is now to be able to take care of mom.
This one, Worthy for the touchdown. And a souvenir for his mom, Nikki Jones. KC up 10.
Relationship. She said that she was seeing a therapist and she had to text her therapist code words such as bananas to say that, hey, I'm fear for my life right now. So I don't know if that would cause the therapist to call the police or whatever, but this is what she put in the affidavit. Another thing that she said that I noticed that was that stood out to me was Tia Jones she seems to be immature, very immature. It's a lot about cheating in here. She's asking this man who was preparing to go to the Super Bowl. Let's not forget, he went to the Super Bowl on February the 9th. And she's questioning this man around the same time about cheating and doing all types of other stupid stuff that has nothing to do with nothing. But we'll get to that. So let me go through. This is the affidavit of Tia Jones that she typed up. She used to support her application for a protection order. So she says this: the very first time Xavier put his hands on me was October 2024 during the season of Xavier's rookie year in Kansas City. Leading up to this incident, Xavier and I got in an argument about some things that his mother has said to me over the past 2 weeks. I wanted him to handle how his mother spoke to me and the demand she was making of me. He said he did not want to get in the middle of it. That was very unsettling to me. And I made a comment that she seemed very jealous of our relationship. Xavier pushed me to the ground with two hands. After that, I left the house. He soon apologized. The second time Xavier put his hands on me was in the apartment on the 15th floor of 3 light luxury apartments in Kansas City. We were arguing over him cheating. This was before Christmas time, but close to it. Xavier picked me up and slammed me hard on the bed and choked me. He knew about my history of abuse in past relationships, so I was horrified that he would do that. I told him to never do that again. He charged at me again and threw me around. I ended up on my back, kicking and trying to get him off of me. My toe was bleeding and swollen. Once he saw me to try to get up, limping and bleeding, he tried to wipe it off. All I wanted to do was leave his apartment. He was forcefully not allowing me to leave. He said I could only leave if I changed my clothes and cleaned up the blood. I refused and only wanted to leave the house. He ended up backing off and letting me leave. I went to my friend's house for a day and a half. When I went back to Xavier's apartment to gather my things for my upcoming flight, we ended up talking and he apologized. I canceled my flight and I stayed in Kansas City. The next time Xavier put his hands on me was very quick. We were arguing in the closet of his room in Kansas City. He got tired of what I had to say, grabbed my throat with his left hand and squeezed it, shook me, and threw my head back. My head jerked forward, and I hit my face on the closet door, chipping my bottom tooth. It hurt really bad. My tooth was sensitive to everything for a week. We didn't really talk about that situation. I just cried and laid down. Shortly before Valentine's Day, now remind you, he went to Super Bowl on the 9th of February. So this is around the same time. Shortly before Valentine's Day this year, I was at our home in Austin, Texas after season was over. He was in Kansas City at the time and had only been to the Austin house a couple of times because of football. We were arguing about him cheating and about a text that I got from an unknown number saying that she was in love with Xavier. I calmly questioned him about it and asked him not to lie. He got upset and told me to get out of our house. This was the first time he tried to kick me out of our joint home. He proposed on July 8th, and we closed on the home that month. I am the one who fully furnished, unpackaged, and made that house into a home. I have been living there from the beginning. I told him over the phone through text message, okay, if that's what you want, I will leave. Me being non-aggressive and being okay with leaving seemed to only make him angrier. Soon after, 3 people come to our home to try to kick me out. I opened the door for them, and they had Xavier on FaceTime. He told me to give his car keys and passport to the lady, and I did. One of the men told me it would make Xavier feel better if I gave him back the car he gave me, so I did. Everyone left. And then his mother came to take away my car. Very soon after, Xavier and I talking, he told me he did not want me to leave the house. Around Valentine's Day, we got into an argument about this incident. He got very upset with me, grabbing my throat with 2 hands and squeezed, shook me, and pushed me away. He then walked away. I just cried. The most recent time Xavier put his hands on me was on March the 7th, 2025. This was the absolute most violent he's ever been with me. He choked me with his hands. He kneed me in the throat so that I couldn't breathe and slammed me against things. An open hand hit me twice that day. That morning, he had a big attitude and was upset with me because I did not give him and his new dog enough attention the night before after my long day of practice. When he starts to leave the house, I text him, if you're about to go cheat, you can let me know so it's easier for the both of us. Xavier walked back into the house, pissed. I just knew his demeanor scared me. So I hid in the back of the closet in the corner. When he first came in, he didn't see me. After taking a lap around the house, he comes back and finds me. He yells, "What the F are you talking about?" I turn around and tell him to calm down. I was just asking because in the past when he had acted like this, he was about to cheat, cheated, or was cheating. Then he follows me to the bathroom and we continue arguing. At some point, I look at him in the eyes and tell him, "You are a bitch." In quotation, he said, "You're a bitch." He flipped out. Xavier picked me up and carried me to the front door, slamming my body against the walls. He was yelling, get out, get the F out. You ain't staying here no more." I'm yelling for him to let me go because he was hurting me. I finally reach behind me and grab his hair and pull it to get free and then run back to the bathroom. He runs behind me and knocks me upside my head in the bathroom hallway. He pushes me against the wall with 2 hands. I just remember trying to swing at him to get him off me. He grabs me by my throat, lifts me off the ground, and slams me on the floor. I hit the ground so hard on my right side and my head bangs the ground. I start seeing spots. I just remember laying there trying to blink because my vision went blurry. He's at my feet just looking at me. After a few blinks, he grabs my arms and tells me to get up, saying that I'm faking it. I just start crying, saying stop, stop, stop in my head. He walks away after that. I just lay on the ground and cry a little more. Eventually, I get up and hurt my legs so bad that I was limping on it. It hurt to put any pressure on. I knew instantly that I could not make practice like this. I didn't want my coach or my teammates to see me like that. I text my coach and I had an emergency and I couldn't come to training. Xavier went to his game room. I stayed in the bedroom and I made the decision that he puts his hand on me again, I will call the police on him. He calmed down and I left the house for a little. I talked to my therapist on the way back to the house and I informed her that Xavier had been violent with me. She instantly told me if I was ever in a situation where I felt like my life was in danger, text her the code word bananas. That's the code word, y'all. Bananas. My therapist advised me to go back inside and check his temperature now that he is calm and to talk about how we can easily split and go our separate ways. I go back into the house and try to talk to Xavier, asking what we can do to make the breakup transition easier. I told him I was not going to fight for the house, but needed to find a place to stay. Xavier kept saying, I don't know, repeatedly. I went to my room to look for somewhere to move. A little later, Xavier tells me that he was going to Perry's and asked if I wanted to come. Then he drives off. I decide to go meet him there, thinking he wants to talk about living arrangements. We end up arguing at Perry's, so I tell him that I will get movers and I will leave. Xavier somehow beats me to the house and locks me out. I knock on the door and he finally answers saying, yeah, bitch, get the F out of my house. As I walk to my room, I see his wallet and keys on the counter and knock them on the floor. He picks up the keys and throws them at my head. The keys miss, hit the wall, and break into pieces. Before I could turn around, Xavier hit me upside my head, pushed me to the ground. He put my phone in his pocket and went to throw it in the garage. While I was out of the room, I tried to grab my things. He was trying to stop me. I am able to grab my iPad, which was only on 2% battery, and text my therapist bananas. I also text my neighbor for help. I was so scared. He then snatched and threw my iPad and my computer. When he wouldn't give me back my phone, I run to his game room and flip his desk. He follows me to the game room and starts tossing me around, choking me and slamming me. He carries me to the garage door, and I remember holding onto the wall while he's pulling me, making both my feet come off the ground. He lets one of his hands go to open the garage, and he puts both of his hands around my neck from behind, and he chokes my neck so tight I was making choking sounds. I felt like I was going to die. I thought my eyes were going to pop. I could not talk. I eventually let go of the wall because I could not breathe, and he turns me around and grabs my throat with one hand. It was weird. He literally grabbed the part of my throat that I swallow with, like he was trying to rip it out. He picks me up and I grab his hair again from behind, since that had worked the last time to get him off of me. He slams me on the ground as I am holding his hair. I'm trying to get up so he does not throw me out with nothing in the middle of the night. He puts his right knee on my throat and puts his weight down. I could not breathe. It was there for more than 10 seconds. He picks his knee up, and I tried to catch my breath, and he starts smacking and pinching me. He raises his hand and smacks me so hard on the right side of my face that I was dizzy and my ear was ringing. After that, I let go, and I just laid there. He locked me out and let my dog come out. I waited in my car for the police to come. What do y'all think about this? So that's our side of the story. Basically, it was about a jealous mama. She didn't want to leave that house. She did a lot to build the house up, to furnish the house. He was cheating. That's my problem. If this is a Super Bowl guy, we got a lot of pressure on his mind. Why are you asking a man about cheating? This man got he with a championship team. You shouldn't be asking about this man about cheating. She needs to go be with a D-boy or a scammer. She can't handle no Super Bowl ninja making that multi-million-dollars a year. That's probably her first multi-million-dollar ninja. That's probably what the problem is. She didn't know how to handle it. You're never supposed to be asking no man got the Super Bowl coming up, asking him about who he messing with, who he cheating with. That's probably why they lost the Super Bowl. So, I can't wait to hear Xavier's side of the story, the full story from his side, if he ever gets a chance to tell it, if his lawyers don't stop him. But Thier Worthy, Thier Jones definitely painted a funny picture. I don't know if I believe her or not. I don't really know. Tell me what y'all think, because this is definitely a lot more detailed, and it's definitely some weird stuff to the point where I just feel like they need to stay away from one another, because she gonna crash him out and he gonna ruin all the money that he got coming for him in his career with a championship caliber team that he's with. So tell me what y'all think in the comments. This is Mr. 100K a day. Till next time, y'all. Peace.